Many people want to understand why former Ghana Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is still walking about freely even though he has been enlisted on Interpol Red Notice. Wicked Blogger Ghana has all the answers for you, and we would keep it as raw as possible. But before that, smash the subscribe button and as well, smash the like button. It is a big truth that in Ghana, politicians are the biggest scammers of all time. They defraud the ordinary Ghanaians and get immunity from the state. They cause financial loss to the state, cut huge deals, and sit on monies meant for the ordinary Ghanaians, yet they walk free. They, however, go after internet fraud boys and make them pay for their crime when they are the real scammers. Fam, if you've been following Ghanaian politics for the last decade, the name Ken Ofori-Atta is no stranger. To many, he was a polished finance minister in his glasses and suit, always quoting numbers and promising economic recovery. To others, he was the banker turned politician who managed to convince Ghanaians that borrowing more billions was the only way forward. But today, that same Ken Ofori-Atta is no longer walking free like the untouchable man he once looked like. He has officially been declared wanted by the Office of the Special Prosecutor OSP in Ghana. Even worse, his name has been entered onto an Interpol Red Notice, which basically makes him an international fugitive. If any country spots him within their borders, they are required to arrest and hand him over. How did we get here? How does a man who once signed billion-dollar loan agreements in shiny offices, who was dining with IMF chiefs, who stood before Parliament defending controversial taxes, now find himself ducking the same system he once commanded? Wicked Blogger Ghana is here to break it down for you, piece by piece, no filters. Who really is Ken Ofori-Atta? Ken Ofori-Atta is not just any politician. He comes from one of the most powerful political families in Ghana. He is a cousin to President Nana Akufo-Addo. Before politics, he made his name in banking and finance as a co-founder of DataBank, one of Ghana's biggest investment firms. When the MPP came to power in 2017, he was immediately handed the finance ministry. This wasn't surprising. He had the family ties, the background in finance, and the trust of the president. In the early days, he looked like a savior. He told Ghanaians he would fix the broken economy, stabilize the cedi, cut down waste, and usher in prosperity. Instead, what we saw was the cedi sinking, debt ballooning, taxes piled on citizens, and an IMF bailout knocking on our door. But economic mismanagement is not even the main reason he's in trouble now. His downfall is tied to corruption allegations, shady contracts, money laundering, and abuse of office. The scandals that piled up. Let's go through the major issues that have landed Ken Ofori-Atta in hot water. 1. The National Cathedral scandal, the so-called House of God project, turned into one of the biggest money pits Ghana has ever seen. Millions of dollars were pumped into it. Yet today, all we see is an uncompleted skeleton of steel and concrete in Accra. Investigations revealed that state funds were diverted illegally, with Ofori-Atta's signature allegedly authorizing questionable payments. People began asking, who really pocketed the money? 2. Ambulance procurement deal. This is one of the most embarrassing cases. Ghana needed ambulances. Contracts were signed, but the whole deal turned murky with inflated costs, shady middlemen, and payments made for undelivered units. Ofori-Atta's name keeps popping up in the documents. 3. GRA and Strategic Mobilization Limited. Under his watch, Strategic Mobilization Limited got questionable contracts with the Ghana Revenue Authority worth hundreds of millions. Investigations showed there was no proper procurement process and payments were far in excess of value delivered. 4. Electricity company termination. ECG contracts were abruptly terminated under suspicious circumstances, costing the country millions in judgment debts. Guess whose ministry was in the center of those decisions? Ofori-Atta's. 5. Misuse of the tax P fund account. The OSP flagged suspicious movements of money involving the tax P fund. These transactions were directly linked to Ofori-Atta's authorizations, raising red flags for money laundering. In short, everywhere you look, the man's fingerprints are on deals that either collapsed, bled the nation dry, or left unanswered questions. How he became wanted. The Office of the Special Prosecutor invited Ofori-Atta several times to answer questions. Each time he found an excuse. He claimed he was sick. He claimed he was abroad for treatment. He even requested to answer questions virtually via Zoom. The OSP rejected this, saying no man is above the law. They wanted him to show up in person. Weeks passed. Months passed. Ken was still nowhere to be found. Finally, the OSP had enough. They declared him a wanted man. But this was not just for local show. They escalated the matter internationally by requesting Interpol to place him on a red notice. Now, let me explain what that means. What is an Interpol Red Notice? An Interpol Red Notice is basically the most serious level of international alert. It tells police forces in 195 member countries. This person is wanted for serious crimes. Arrest him if you see him. It doesn't mean Interpol themselves will hunt him down, but it makes it very hard for him to travel. If he tries to cross borders, fly on a plane, or even use his passport in many countries, alarms will go off. So yes, Ofori-Atta may still be hiding in some safe haven right now, but the net is tightening. Why this case is huge. Let's be clear, Ghana has had many corruption scandals, but the Ofori-Atta case is different because he was the face of Ghana's economy. He was the one negotiating with the IMF, World Bank, and foreign investors. His fall is a direct embarrassment to the nation. He is a family member of the president. If someone that close can be thrown under the bus, it means the fight has reached the inner circle. His name is now on Interpol records. That means it's no longer just Ghana's problem, it's global. The political angle. Make no mistake, fam. Politics is all over this case. Some say Ofori-Atta is being sacrificed because his scandals became too loud and the NDC opposition is milking it for political gain. Others believe it's the ruling party itself throwing him out to protect the president's legacy. Whatever the case, one thing is clear. He has fallen out of favor and no one is protecting him anymore. What could happen next? So what happens to Ken Ofori-Atta? Wicked Blogger Ghana will lay it out. If arrested abroad, he will be detained and deported back to Ghana. Once in Ghana, the OSP will press charges for corruption, money laundering, and causing financial loss. If he stays hiding, his life becomes smaller and smaller. He can't travel freely. He risks being tracked and arrested at any moment. If convicted, he could face years in prison, massive fines, and asset seizures. Remember, these are not small charges. Money laundering and corruption at this scale carry heavy penalties. If he cuts a deal, knowing how Ghana politics works, he may try to negotiate, return some money, or expose bigger fish in exchange for lighter punishment. But whatever happens, his reputation is destroyed. The man who once presented himself as Ghana's finance guru is now branded worldwide as a fugitive. The bigger picture. Wicked Blogger Ghana won't end without telling you the real truth. This fight isn't just about Ken Ofori-Atta. It's about Ghana's image. Fraud, corruption, money laundering, these have dragged Ghana's name through the mud for too long. The FBI, Interpol, IMF, and World Bank are all watching. The government knows if they don't act, Ghana could face sanctions, blacklisting, and investor flight. So yes, Ofori-Atta's fall is partly about justice, but it's also about saving Ghana's neck internationally. Fam, that's the million-dollar question everyone is asking. If Ken Ofori-Atta is truly wanted, if his name is on Interpol Red Notice, then why is he still walking free and not behind bars? Wicked Blogger Ghana will break it down for you straight. No sugarcoating. First thing you need to understand is that Ghanaian politics is not like some clean Hollywood movie where once you're declared wanted, police storm your house and drag you out. In Ghana, and Africa at large, the system is full of power plays, connections, and protection deals. Ken Ofori-Atta was not just any minister. He was the president's cousin and the man who controlled Ghana's finances for over 6 years. That type of power buys you a lot of protection. The reason he hasn't been arrested is partly because he is not sitting in the open waiting for police to grab him. He has gone underground. Whether he is in Ghana hiding in a protected location or quietly slipped out into another country with friendly allies, the truth is he knows how the system works and he knows where to hide. Another reason is political protection. Don't forget, many of the shady deals he's accused of didn't happen alone. They were approved at cabinet level, parliament level, or with the president's knowledge. Arresting him openly means dragging other big names into the mud. So there is a game of caution. The OSP and Interpol have listed him, but the Ghanaian state machinery may not be in a hurry to parade him because it could explode into a wider scandal. Also, The Interpol Red Notice is powerful, but it depends on cooperation. If Ken is hiding in a country that is not actively pushing to arrest him, he can still move carefully within those zones. Red Notice is not an automatic manhunt, it's a signal. Until a country acts on it, he can remain free. Lastly, there is the reality of fear of exposure. If Ken Ofori-Atta is arrested and put on trial, he could decide to talk, he could reveal names, deals, and the real godfathers behind the scenes. That's why sometimes the system prefers to keep such men out quietly rather than bring them in publicly. So the short answer, fam, Ken Ofori-Atta hasn't been arrested yet because he is protected by political ties, shielded by the system, possibly hiding abroad, and because his arrest could expose more than the government is ready to handle. But make no mistake, once your name is on Interpol Red Notice, you are not truly free. It's only a matter of time before one slip-up ends the game.